with the content of the course. The first thing which we will talk about today is the traffic stream. Okay, so as you can see here, and you will see if you go to the lectures on Blackboard, if you open them, you will see the first slide mentions the chapter numbers. Okay, and name of the book as well. If the name of the book is not mentioned, that means it is this one, the textbook. Okay, so if the book is not mentioned, it is the textbook, the default which we have. Okay, if it is something else, then it is mentioned. Okay, on any other slides, you will see the name of the textbook as well, and it is now uploaded. Okay, so you can see the lectures as well as the book, the textbook, as well as the reference book. So these slides are taken from chapter 5 and 6 of the textbook. Okay, stream, traffic stream. Stream means what?
Flow.
Flow. Okay, anything which flows, we call it a stream. Like we have a stream of water, that means there's a body of water in which the water is flowing. Okay, so traffic stream means what? What is flowing? Traffic, drivers, cars, vehicles. Okay, so a traffic stream is made up of vehicles. Okay, the flow of vehicles means a traffic stream. These vehicles, for the time being, they are being controlled by the drivers, right? For the time being. Maybe after a few years, we will not have the driver, we will just have vehicles going here and there, right? Okay. So, but for the time being, we have the vehicles and the drivers. And these vehicles and drivers, they interact with each other. Meaning what? One driver affects the other. Okay? You see one driver going from the other lane at 100 kilometers per hour, you are stuck in your lane. You go mad, right? Right or wrong? Everybody agrees. You follow him. Everybody follows you. Okay? And then this lane from which you have started following on, this is going at 100 kilometers per hour, and everybody is stuck in the other lane, right? That also happens. Okay. So this is the interaction between the drivers. Okay. So one car affects the other car. One driver affects the other driver. The drivers are also affected by the elements of the road. Okay. So you are driving and you see a roundabout. Your driving behavior changes, right? You see a bridge which has 4 lanes, a speed of 120 kilometers per hour. Again, your driving behavior changes. Okay, so you are now being affected by the environment of the element of the road. Okay, and the last thing which affects the driver behavior is the general environment. Anything which is around the road, that could also affect you. Okay, could mean the buildings, the trees, the light poles. Okay, a very obvious example is the weather, right? Okay, sunshine, fog, rainfall. Okay, light going, low and high. All these things affect your driving behavior. There are certain things which are on the side of the road, and they do not seem to have a direct impact on the road itself. But while you are driving, it affects you. It's a known fact. They have studied it in many countries and in many different studies. They have found that, for example, if you have high-rise buildings around the road, buildings, okay, nobody is coming out from them. Okay, they are just there on the side of the road. They are not affecting the design of the road. They don't have any direct impact on the driver. But while you are driving in that area, your driving behavior is different as compared to while you are driving on some other area which is empty. Okay, so these things have an effect on the driver behavior. Okay, So if you are observing traffic flow changes according to location and time. Traffic flow changes according to what? Location and time. Okay. So if you are observing traffic flow on highway A or highway B, you will not see the same thing. They will not be the same. Okay. Or you are observing traffic flow on the same highway, and maybe they are the same drivers, but at different times. So you observe it today, okay, and then you are observing, let's say you observe it today at 9 o'clock, and then you observe the same drivers who are coming back at 6 p.m. It's the same road, the same point on the road, and the same drivers. But since the time has changed, those drivers may behave differently. Okay, so traffic streams do not behave in the same manner. They change according to time and they change according to location. Okay, they have mentioned two main points here about the reason for changes in traffic stream behavior. The first one is the vehicles. Okay, the mix of vehicles, the distribution of vehicles. At some locations, at some times, you may have more trucks. Some other locations, you may have more buses. Some other locations, you may have bicycles as well. Okay, there can be more motorbikes at one location or one time and so on. Okay. In certain cases, the vehicle characteristics themselves also change, although from the outside they look the same. Okay, so for example, you have a highway which has 1,000 cars. Okay, and then you have another highway which has exactly the same number of cars, and they are, let's say, the same cars. But here, for example, if you are talking about 1,000 cars in Bahrain, okay, so we have the automatic transmission, right? Okay, if you go to Europe, then majority of the cars have manual transmission. Okay, so from the outside, these are the same cars, same vehicles. Okay, but the operation has changed. Okay, if you go to some other countries, you will find that there are more vehicles which are from the old years, like they allow. So in Pakistan, you will see cars which are from 70s and 80s. Okay, people are driving them. They are proud of them. Okay, so obviously you have it, you should be proud of it, right? The point was, you may, from the outside, they may look the same number of cars, the same distribution and everything, but according to people, according to the culture, the type of vehicle, like from the inside may change. So from the outside it may look the same. We are talking about the same vehicles, but on the inside it could be different. Okay. And another reason for change, so this is one reason of having difference in behavior of traffic stream, difference in behavior of traffic flow. What is the other reason? I've already mentioned many times now. Why traffic stream would change? What is the other reason? Driver. Okay. So like I already mentioned, you are the same driver in the same car on the same road. Okay. But you are coming for the class, and now then you are going home. So prison, life, death, something like this. Okay. So you have a difference, right? Okay. So the driver behavior changes, that means the traffic stream will change. Okay. They call it traffic facilities, meaning highways and streets and roads. Traffic facilities are highways, streets and roads. Okay. What are the types of highways? Tell me. Rural, urban. And within rural and urban there are different other types. Huh? Arterials, collector, local. Everybody is giving one name. This is classification on the basis of what?
Location.
Location?
Size.
No.
The traffic flow.
Which type of classification do we call it? Arterial and collector and locus. What classification do we call it? No. We call it the functional classification of the road. It is on the basis of function. Functional classification. Where did you study? Everybody passed on this. You don't know. And so functional classification of the height. This is functional. Okay, the one which you mentioned is functional, based on the function, the purpose of the height. Then there is another classification which we are looking at right now, which is on the basis of traffic flow. Okay, so the one which we are going to study now is the classification of the height of the highways on the basis of traffic flow. So on the basis of traffic flow, there are two types of highways, two types of facilities or highways: uninterrupted flow and interrupted flow. Okay, on the basis of traffic flow, there are two types of highways or two types of facilities: uninterrupted flow and interrupted flow. Okay, interruption means what? Huh?
Exiting intersections.
So what happens at the or intersection?
Traffic light. It will interrupt the flow and it will continue.
Stop. Okay, so interruption means stopping. Interruption means stopping. So uninterrupted flow facilities do not have interruptions. They do not have any means by which you are stopping traffic. Okay. Now we talked about collector, arterial, right? Can the type of highway change in different times of the day? Is it possible now it is arterials? After 2 hours it will be local street. Huh? No. Same here. Same here. Because type of highway is function of its design. The design of the highway doesn't change from 1 hour to another hour, 1 day to another day, right? So the type will not change. Okay. So if it is uninterrupted, it is uninterrupted. Whether I am looking at it right now, or after 2 hours, or after 2 months, it's the same highway. So that means it's the same design. That means if it is uninterrupted now, if I am calling it uninterrupted now, I will always call it uninterrupted unless I change the highway. Clear?
Yes.
Okay. Now we are saying here there is no external interruption. Okay, uninterrupted does not have any external interruption. Okay, what is an external interruption? You already mentioned intersections. The main thing, we will discuss in the next slide as well, the main thing which can cause the traffic to stop externally is the intersection. I'm calling it externally. Okay, so first of all, an intersection is something which you plan and design, right? It's not something which will pop up right now. The intersection should be here and should be this type of intersection, right? You plan it and you design it. Okay, so it's part of the design. So it will not change from one time to another time. Okay, so if the highway has intersection, it is not uninterrupted. If the highway doesn't have intersection, it is uninterrupted. Clear? Okay. So there is no external interruption. But it can happen. You have uninterrupted flow highway, and on that highway there is an accident. So will the traffic stop or not?
Yes.
It will stop, right? Will it change the type of highway? The traffic is stopping because of something internal. It's not because of the design of the road. You get the point? It's not because of the design of the road. Something happened on the road. It can happen to any road, interrupted, uninterrupted. Okay? But that will not change the type of highway. Yes?
There are some highways with traffic lights, but the traffic lights are turned off because there is several different stations with firefighting trucks, and when these firefighting trucks need to leave, the
that street in the night, and they open it again in the morning because of high traffic.
So they close the street, what do you mean?
They close this area, so you cannot pass from here to there. You need to go far away. But in the morning, because high traffic, they open it and the traffic light is on.
Still interrupted. Still interrupted. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So you get the point, right? Any other question? Okay. So intersections, they provide you access. Okay. Access here means entry. So from intersection, you take a turn towards another highway, right? I'm coming from one area, I have to enter another area, I will do it from the intersection, right? So intersections provide you access. No intersection means access is controlled. Control here means is restricted, blocked. No intersection means no access. Okay? So when you have uninterrupted flow facilities, they don't have intersections. That means the access is controlled, blocked. Got it? Clear? Okay. So one of the types of uninterrupted flow highways is called the freeways. Okay, so freeway is a type of uninterrupted flow highway, uninterrupted flow facility. Another types of uninterrupted flow facilities are rural two-lane highways and rural and suburban multi-lane highways. So all of them are different types of uninterrupted flow facilities. Okay. Now what happens on these highways? We said traffic stream is made up of what? Drivers and vehicles, right? And they are affected by what? They interact with each other. They interact with each other. Physical elements of the road. And what else? The environment. Okay. So this is what happens on uninterrupted flow facility. So if you want to see the pure behavior of a traffic flow, you can easily see it on uninterrupted flow facilities because there is no external interruption. So traffic is moving like it should move purely if it is only affected by itself. Okay, clear? Okay. Then we have interrupted flow facilities. So interrupted flow facilities have interruptions. Okay, and these interruptions are fixed and external. This is what I said. Okay, if the interruption is not fixed, that means it's not part of the design of the road, then you cannot call it interrupted just because of that. Okay, so you cannot call a highway because there's some construction work going on. The construction is supposed to finish. Okay, so if there is no other interruption, we call it uninterrupted. But if you have, so what was the type of interruption we said, which will make the highway interrupted? Intersections. Okay, so these highways have intersections. Intersections are planned, designed, and they are part of the design and operation of the highways. What type of intersections we are looking at? Any type of intersection. It could be a traffic signal, it could be a stop sign, it could be a yield. They call it yield. We have give way, the triangular sign, the give way sign. Okay, or it could be any intersection. So you have an intersection. Okay, if you go to small streets, okay, minor streets, you will not see intersections which have a stop sign or signal or roundabout. Just two streets crossing each other. Okay, but from that crossing, you can enter the street, you can take the turn. So it becomes interrupted flow. It becomes an interruption. Whether you put a signal there or not doesn't matter. But if you are providing a crossing, that's an interruption. Okay. The interruption can be from a driveway. What is a driveway? The lane which is coming out from the parking area. Okay, so you have a parking area or a parking garage or parking of a mall, and there's a lane coming out from there. We call it the driveway. Okay, so a driveway, again, you are entering the highway from another place, so that becomes an intersection. Then we have curb parking. Curb parking means roadside parking. Okay, so when you are going into the parking area or coming out to the parking space, you are doing this where? On the street, right? Okay, so people have to stop for you. So it becomes like an intersection because you are stopping for someone else. Or any other point from where people can enter the street or exit the street. Okay, so the main point is on your highway, if there is any point from which people can cross the traffic, or they can enter the traffic or exit the traffic, whether they are doing it from another road, whether they are doing it from parking areas, whether they are doing it from roadside parking or any building. When it happens, it becomes an interruption. Okay, whenever this happens, it becomes an interruption, and the highway will be an interrupted flow facility. Clear? Okay, then we have traffic stream parameters, the data which you collect for traffic stream. So these parameters can be divided into two main categories. We have macroscopic and we have microscopic. Macro and micro. What's the difference between these two terms? Huh?
Scale. Macro for large scale.
Macro for large scale and micro is for small scale. Okay, or it could be it could be the difference in scale or size. Okay, so in macro you may be looking at the entire system. Okay, and in micro you may be looking at a specific element of the system. Right? So in macro you may be looking at the entire traffic stream. Okay, and in micro you will be looking at the element of traffic stream. So traffic stream is made up of what? Vehicles. So if you are looking at specific vehicles or drivers, that is micro. If you are looking at the entire traffic stream, that is macro. Clear? Now there are three parameters under each category that we will discuss in this chapter. So we will go in the details. So we have volume, rate of flow, speed and density in macro, and then we have speed, headway and spacing in micro. Okay, these three and these three. What is common here? Speed is common, right? So what's the difference when the speed is macro and the speed is micro? Speed is speed, right?
Speed of the road.
Speed of the road, which one? In the macro, speed of the road, okay?
Speed of the vehicle.
Speed of the vehicle in macro and micro. Okay, it's already mentioned here. So if you are looking at the speed of each vehicle, then that is micro. If you are looking at the speed of the entire road, that is macro. It could be the design speed of the road, or it could be the average speed of the road. Macro, the first one. Okay, the design or the average speed. Okay, let us start the discussion with volume or rate of flow. Volume is number of vehicles which you count over a point or a lane or a direction or a highway over a given interval of time. Number of vehicles counted over a point, lane, direction or highway in a given interval of time. Okay, and that interval of time is usually per day or per hour. Okay, so if you count vehicles for the entire day, volume. If you count vehicles for 1 hour, volume. Clear?
Yes.
Okay. Flow is also similar to volume, but the difference is the time interval. For flow, the time interval is less than 1 hour. Okay. For flow, the time interval is less than 1 hour. So you counted vehicles for 15 minutes. I will not call it volume. I will call it flow. Clear? Okay. So 1 hour or 1 day, we call it what? Mole. Less than 1 hour, we call it
Flow.
flow. Okay. Then we have rate of flow or flow rate. Okay. So you counted vehicles for 15 minutes.
Flow.
Yeah. If somebody asks you, then I don't have time now for 1 hour to do the counting for 1 hour. Just give me an idea how many vehicles I can have with the same rate in 1 hour. So you count it for 15 minutes. Okay. So
Times it by 4.
time it by 4 because 1 hour has 4 intervals of 15 minutes, right? Or divide by 15 multiplied by 60. Whatever. Clear? Now this value which you will give me after multiplying by 4, is it flow? No.
Right.
It's not flow because now it's not for 15 minutes, right?
Yes.
Flow is less than 1 hour, right? Is it volume?
Yeah.
Why not?
It's not actually an hour.
It's not actually an hour. Your observation was not done for 1 hour. Okay, so I cannot call it volume as well. So I will call it flow rate or rate of flow. Okay, so in rate of flow or flow rate, you take the flow and convert it into an hourly rate. Okay, rate of flow or flow rate is the value of flow converted to an hourly rate. Clear?
So it's approximate value.
Yes.
Will be volume.
No, no.
It's converted to hourly rate, right?
Volume is not converted, volume is counted. You stand there for 1 hour, you tell me I observed 2000 vehicles, volume. You stand there for 15 minutes, you said so and so vehicles in 15 minutes. And if they continue on the same rate in 1 hour, we can have this much. But did you actually count for 1 hour? So take the example. 400 vehicles in 15 minutes, right? How many in 1 hour? 1600, right? Is this an actual number? No, you based upon these 15 minutes, yeah, 1600 maybe. But the actual number could be less so. You get the difference now?
Yes.
In volume, there is no such thing. When you say volume is this much, it is this much.
So volume is counted.
Yes. Clear?
Yes.
Clear? Okay. Now another thing which can happen is, so you are taking flow for 15 minutes. In 1 hour, how many flows I can have? 4, right? I can have 4 different values, right? Can I calculate rate of flow for each value? I can, right? So for each 15 minutes period, I can have a flow value. And for that 15 minutes period, I can calculate an hourly rate, right? So flow rate can be more than one value for 1 hour, right? For each value of flow, there can be a value of rate of flow. Got it?
Yes.
Clear? So later on you may see some graphs where they are showing vehicles per hour, but it is changing after every 5 minutes. Why? Because the flow is changing every 5 minutes. Okay, so the flow rate can actually change within the hour as well based upon the value of flow. Got it? Clear? Okay? Any question? Okay. So we said volume can be daily or hourly, right? Daily volume, when we have daily volume, volume is used to give you the total demand of the highway. Daily volume is used to represent the total demand of the highway. Okay, total meaning then both directions. Total demand is both directions. How many people are coming and how many are going in the entire day. Okay, so daily volume gives you the total demand of the highway. So obviously, if I'm designing a new road, if I'm planning a new area, then I need the demand, right? Okay, so I will use what?
Daily volume.
Daily. Okay. So daily volume is used for future planning. Daily volume is used for future planning. So there are equations and models available which can give you the demand of the highway based upon the characteristics of the area. And that demand is given in terms of daily volume. Okay? And obviously these equations and models are not magic. You have to build them, you have to collect data for them as well. So if you are collecting data for demand of the highway for future planning, again you will need what? Daily volume. Okay? So anything which you are doing for future planning, forecasting, okay, designing a new road, developing a new area, you need what? Daily volume. Okay? So the planning purpose or the planning applications depend upon daily volumes. Okay? Daily volumes can be of 4 different types. There are 4 different types of daily volumes. You can see the names over here. If you understand the name, then you know what to do. So we have average annual daily traffic, average annual weekday traffic, average weekday traffic, and average daily traffic, average weekday traffic. So what are we doing here? We are taking what? Average. How many days? 365 days. Okay, average of 365 days. And keep in mind, 365 days can start from any day of the year. This can start from 9 September and then you will finish at 8 September, 365 days. So there is no 1st January and 31st December. You don't have to do it. If you have it, no problem. But any 365 days, it's fine. Clear?
Yes.
Okay. So average of 365 days for the traffic of all days, daily. Daily is all the days, right? Daily is all the days. So ADT, you are taking an average of 365 days including all days. Clear? Okay. Then we have average for 365 days, but only weekdays. So you look at the period of 365 days. From that period, now you will pick the values which are for the, okay, which are the weekdays?
Sunday to Friday.
Sunday to Thursday, right? So many of them. There should be less, right? Okay. So you get the point, right? Okay. So now you will pick all the days which are weekdays. You will take the traffic and divide by the number of weekdays you have. For average, you have to divide by number of days, right? So here you are dividing by how many days? In the first case, 365. Here, not 365, something less. Okay. Then we have average of all days. What is missing? Annual. Okay, so the period is not 365 days. It is less than 365 days. We are taking all days, average of all days, but for a period of less than 365. It could be 1 week, could be 1 month, 6 months, anything less than 1 year. And then we have average weekday traffic. So what are we doing here?
5 days.
5 days?
Only weekends.
Only weekdays? And what else?
Not anymore.
Not annual. So again, it's less than 1 year, and that period you are only taking weekdays. It could be 5 days, average of 5 days. It could be average of the whole month, but from the whole month you will only take weekdays. Okay? 5 days in the whole month, weekdays.
Weekdays are 5, right?
5 days a week, right? In the month you will have more.
Yes.
I know we want to forget it, but it's there. What can you do? Okay. A very simple small example. So we have data from a point which is for the entire 12 months of the year. So we have how many days we have in the month. We have how many total number of days we have in the month. So this is the weekdays in the month. This is the total number of days in the month. Okay. This is total traffic in the month. This is traffic on the weekdays of the month. Okay, so this is 425,000 in how many days? 31. This is 208,000. Which days? 20. Clear? Clear? And we have to calculate AADT, AWT, ADT, and AWT for these values. Okay. So what was AADT? So I should know what?
Annual day.
Huh?
Average annual daily traffic.
How do I calculate it?
My city is 365.
365 and
Average daily.
average daily.
Or total over the year.
Huh?
Over the year, I take the volume.
Yeah. So you need the volume of the year divided by number of days in the year, right? Okay. Volume of the year. Number of days in the year. 365. How much is it?
100,000.
Huh? Yes, how much?
100,000.
14.9? 14,917. What? 0.8. Okay, so this total, okay, we had the traffic of each month, we did the total divided by total number of days. AADT. Clear? Any problem in this one? Okay. AAWT. Yes, how much upon how much? 2 million. This one, total of the weekdays divided by 260. Yeah. How much? How much is it? 7,000? 7076. Yes, 9. Who told you are so bright you can do it without a calculator?
It is not calculating.
Okay. Now for AADT, okay, how many days we divided with? 365. Can it change? No. 365 or 366? Okay. For the second one, 260. Can it change? No? It can. It changes, right? It changes. You have to actually count it. You have to actually count it, how many weekdays you have. Okay? It can be less than 260, it can be more than 260. Okay? It's around this value, obviously, because you
maybe stopped in the middle of the week.
yeah. Okay, so it will be around 260, but the actual number has to be found from the calendar of that year. Clear? Okay. Now, ADT of January. What? What upon 31? 4 to 5. How much? 700 and? Okay, ADT of Jan. So now we will have how much is that? Okay, any problem? Easy, right? Okay. Can you calculate AADT for January?
No.
Should be 1 year.
It's a total volume.
AADT means average annual. So anything less than annual cannot be AADT. Okay. So for January I cannot calculate AADT or even AAWT. Got it? Okay. Can I calculate
Annual will not be less.
sorry?
Annual will not be less than 1 year.
Yeah. So annual cannot be less than 1 year. Okay. Can I calculate ADT for the whole year? ADT for the whole year.
Okay.
We can.
It would
But
be.
then we will call it AD. Clear? Okay. So anything which is annual cannot be for less than 1 year. Okay. So for the rest of the months, you can calculate what? ADT and AWT. But AADT and AWT is only one value for the entire year. Clear? Any questions? Okay. Thank you. The lists are still not updated on SIS. I'll start the attendance from tomorrow.
Doctor? So we can take the ADT value for each month, and then take the apple, then we will have the ADT.
We can have, yes. But we usually don't. There's a small difference when you do it directly, like we did, or when you do it in this way. There's a small difference.
Does it matter?
Huh?
Does it matter the small difference? Or maybe 5 class, 10 class?
Just for the sake of argument, this one is more accurate if you take the total upon total. This one is considered more accurate as compared to average upon average, because in each average you are doing some approximation. So when you then take 12 approximated values and try to calculate the last one has more error. You get my point? I took 12 values which are exact and I calculated the overall average. This is more accurate as compared to you calculate 12 approximate values and then try to calculate the average. So that one will have more error. Okay, but the difference is not so much. Okay, any other question? Okay, thank you.